After uploading that whole my reason for watching RWBY video like 2 weeks ago, and that did incredibly well. I still have no idea how that happened. Can we have that happen again with this one, please? But when it comes down to it, though, after making that whole thing, it made me honestly wonder exactly about how people kind of feel about RWBY genuinely. Like, a lot of people just want to see adult content, and granted, I do too, but when it comes down to it, as like a story of what it is, how do we actually like approach it to make it better? Because the comment section was just like, yeah, this is pretty much all it is for at this point, just content just to be made for some gentile uses, and when it comes down to it, nothing really good here. So I was thinking, what exactly could fix RWBY in a way, and if there was like ever a way to do so, because I've already kind of thrown down with my initiative of what I would have done if I had the RWBY IP technically within my own fanfiction story. So we did that, but I never really said I was gonna fix the problem. I was just gonna try to make it into my own thing, and that's what I ended up doing. So how do we fix RWBY essentially? The key main things I see people have a tough time when it comes down to RWBY is usually when it comes down to its storytelling and its characters. And those are really basically the main things. The world of what it is, never really see people kind of complain about it outside of like, why do we have to go to, the volume 9 place? But that's really about it, essentially. And to be perfectly honest, I don't really think there is anything that you need to change much about what RWBY is in its story. To be very honest with you, I think you just need to take out certain things and, make sure you keep consistent with other things, and you'll be perfectly fine, right? Like, you can make these changes like it's an overnight change. The same way you can make this channel blow up into a subscriber channel overnight. Please do hit the subscribe button. I'm being so serious. Life is egregious right now. But when it comes down to it though, how do we actually go about this shit? So the first thing I would say is story, right? So for me personally, if I were to change anything about RWBY's story, I would probably get rid of the relic shit, just to keep it a stack, because I feel like you already have enough stuff just going after the maidens of the seasons, right? Just have that, and then maybe combine their powers together, give you ultimate power or some shit like that. Maybe if you did something like that, that would be fine, and there really wouldn't be a whole ass reason for the relics. Let the maidens be the whole major thing, because I feel like what the problem happened was they added the maidens thing, but then when they also introduced the relics not too long after, it kind of was like, okay, we just learned about like the maiden stuff, right? It's just like, why which one's more important, honestly? Which one's more important than the other? And then you realize they're kind of both important, and it kind of has to, make a balance between the two. And while the show does kind of make them important, it doesn't make, like, it just feels like, one feels more important than the other, because a lot of the times, at least to me when I was watching it, it just felt like the relics were just way more important than the maiden powers. Like, the maiden power was just like a power boost or some shit like that, but it never really felt like it was worth, anything more than that. So I don't necessarily think you had anything bad with the, maiden's power. So for me, I would just keep that and then scrap the whole idea of the relics. Secondly, I don't think it was a bad idea to have the characters in a school setting. That being said, I kind of wish they had like a teacher or a mentor that was over them, especially over just Team RWBY as a whole. So, if things were to go wrong or they need to learn about something, how their universe kind of works, that will be kind of like our inside information as well to understand things better. Because yeah, they had teachers, but at the same time they kept flip-flopping them. So obviously when the time comes for them to leave the school in the actual show, I don't really feel super attached to any character that's like a teacher character, because they're probably the most irrelevant character of all time. So I'm not necessarily saying you need to have them being like in the spotlight a lot of the time, but it would have also been easier to have them been a part of Osmond's plan and all that sort of stuff as well, so we can kind of transition them a little bit more easier into that, instead of just having Ozpin kind of just be shady, mysterious background man that wants to be Gojo so bad, because that's kind of what Ozpin kind of felt like, and then he just got into a child's body and then, you know, kind of remained there for a long time, you know? That's just how Ozpin is. And lastly, and this is just mainly like a personal touch for me, I would kind of remove one person from Team Juniper and have the bunny girl from Team Kofi kind of just be a part of Team Juniper if I could. Just gonna be very real with you. So when we get to those points of like where Blake was talking about how the Fondas are being like harassed and all the racism stuff kind of happens, you know, you can kind of have her jump in, because I feel like having her there would have been kind of cool, honestly. I don't think they did that if I remember correctly, so that's kind of like a wasted time, but still nonetheless, it is what it is. Now on to the main hoes themselves, Team RWBY. When it comes down to it, the first and immediate thing that just honestly this whole show should have done, I don't care how people think about this, is that essentially if it's an anime inspired show, it should have anime inspired moments. So yes, you should have thrown in a beach episode, not because I want to see just, you know, big boobage ass Yang and all that type of stuff, even though I do, but when it comes down to it, it's also for the fact that they can build up their relationships and have like moments of rest without any type of crazy amount of drama going on, or at least before they head back into it, right? Those episodes may be called filler by a lot of people, but they help build up the team and help build up like what you think of them and all that type of stuff. And yeah, you would have them being serious at times as well, but having them having fun and actually showing that they're more than just story ass characters is the reason why RWBY kind of sucks, because they don't have fun. They don't enjoy their time. They're always saving the day doing something, or just, you know, being serious all the time, which is why nobody likes the characters for a lot of the moments. So when it comes down to it, let them have fun. Let them go to an amusement park or do some other shit that's not saving the whole ass world for 10 seconds. Even Cloud and FF7 and them had to go to Golden Saucer and chilled for like 3 minutes. So let them have their damn fun. It's okay. And especially Team RWBY, let them have their fun. Like, they are still teenage characters like that, you know? Now, as far as RWBY goes herself, I don't have too much of a problem with her. The only problem I have is that I wish she spoke up about being a failure sooner than she did in the later season. Because when it comes down to it, this would have been something that should have been aired out a long time ago. Especially with the whole pressure of being a leader and all that type of stuff, and actually knowing what it means to be one. I mean, she was kind of just thrown in that position by Ozpin, and it was never really a true ass reason as to why. So when it comes down to it, it's just like, yeah, this should have kind of snapped on her like a little bit earlier, you know, and not later. So kind of having that out the way would have been a bit more of a fresher air for her, especially if you wanted to change her character a little bit. Secondly, Silver Eyes. Why the hell do you not use them like that? Honestly, if she was an Uchiha, she would be screwed. When it comes down to it, she should have used the Silver Eyes a lot more. I ain't saying to overly use it and abuse the power. There should be some type of limit to what she can do, or start hurting her. So, you know, that can be a thing. But at the very same time, there still should have been something about that could at least let her use it more than what she has used it before. Because Silver Eyes is basically treated as a joke, or at least something that's not relevant to the story at all. Lastly, I'll just say smarten RWBY up just a bit, because yeah, I get it, she's naive and, you know, she doesn't necessarily know what she's doing half the damn time, but at the same time, let her smarten up a little bit, you know? Even the best of characters have to act smart at times, so let them come in and actually get some knowledge for her though. Yang. Now, the beach episode things and stuff like that, that's mainly for her, because oh my gosh, she's egregiously angry for absolutely no reason. I get it, that's her whole power, that's where she kind of gets all her strength from, but at the very same time, there is something called not being a total dick, ass, and cock and balls when it comes down to it, right? Just gonna keep that very much a stay. Do something about that damn anger and calm her ass down. I get it, you lost an arm to homeboy, but at the very same time, just because you lose an arm, people still like you, keep it going. So when it comes down to it, calm your ass down, fists of fury. For Yang, I wish there was like a moment where she had like kind of learned how to meditate or calm herself down, and especially when things like that don't need to be like that. I get it. She's hot-headed, she's hard-headed, and when it comes down to it, that's kind of her character. But at the very same time, it would be nice just to have her not freak out at every little thing, especially when something serious is going down. Kind of just being like, yeah, alright, we're gonna figure some shit out. But at the same time, she doesn't have to go along with it, but be less angry though. And kind of bring back some of that, feeling of having a bit of fun without necessarily making the whole, scene kind of like, oh, it's unserious. Because you can have her be serious, just let her have fun with the shit. Sometimes the best characters are the one characters that be acting the most unusual, intense, and crazy situations. Sometimes you get the best content when you get those type of characters. I ain't saying she need to go fully that route, but tone her down when it comes to the anger. She don't need to display that in every serious, scene or be snippy about something, because hot damn, no one likes this character. Blake, give her Sun back, literally. Honestly, I like the dynamic of Sun trying to actually be like, yo, I'm trying to figure shit out, I'm actually here with you, but he ain't gonna figure out everything, even though he tries his best. But then Blake comes through with the IQ plans and all that type of stuff, and actually be knowing what she's doing in a way, so we can have that dynamic, and I think that dynamic was fine, and there was no reason to change it. The second thing, give her her black aesthetic when it comes down to it, because all this white is really kind of not Blake. I'll keep that very much stacked. The black aesthetic is what made her cool. And thirdly, I'm gonna be real with you. If you really want to make Blake honestly good, give her the Raven, kind of aesthetic and kind of feel and vibe like Teen Titans back in the day did. Just give her the goth girl mentality, and I promise you, Blake will actually be pretty damn decent of a character, especially in her mental mind. So yeah, if you want to really fix Blake up, make her basically a Raven clone. I'ma just be real with you. And as far as Weiss goes, I honestly don't have much I could really say about her. To be real, I don't think there's anything I can say about Weiss. I think Weiss has been like the most consistent character out the entire season. And just to be very real with you, I can't think of anything immediately that's like, oh, I must point this out because Weiss is terrible. Not really. Weiss has been pretty decent. Her story makes sense of why she is the way she is, and she has changed multiple times in the story, and be less of an asshole-ish type of person when it comes down to it. Less of an asshole. She's still an asshole, but still less of it. But when it comes down to it, there's not anything that screams, I need to fix this for Weiss, unlike literally anybody else. So to be real with you, I don't think there's any problems with Weiss. But if I were to say one damn thing or one story synopsis that should have happened in the past of just RWBY entirely, if they are going to reboot it, then they could. But when it comes down to it, I think there should have been a moment where RWBY completely just said F being a leader and just kind of dipped the hell off. And I don't mean what happened in Volume 9, I mean like fully disassembled herself from RWBY and kind of just went across some different places by herself, and then kind of just, did her own thing. And kind of just chilled out like that for a little while. Of course, come back and, be Team RWBY, but just kind of kicking it by herself? That would have been kind of interesting to kind of teach her not only just how to be a leader, but also at the same time how to be herself and actually know how to control the scene of what she wants to do, instead of just being kind of ordered around by literally everybody else. She's the leader, yet she don't really get the respect for it. So if they did something like that, that would have been fun. Kind of like how Zuko did in Avatar when he had to, kind of go his own way and try to figure things out for himself. Something like that. That would have been kind of cool for RWBY to have, instead of the whole tree thing with Neapolitan and, picking herself again, because that obviously made the most sense in the world. I'm being sarcastic. But to me, if you wanted to fix RWBY, those are the issues I would say you could fix and make the story a bit more better. Is it like the most detailed thing ever? No, but it's something that has been on my mind that maybe could do something for, RWBY as a whole. Because again, conceptually, RWBY isn't bad. It's when you put this stuff together and you look at it from the grand picture, and then you understand why people hate the shit out of this show, or only look at it for, again, Yang getting her booty clapped. So it makes all of the sense in the world. But that's essentially what I wanted to bring up for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification else. Again, a share, a subscribe means so damn much. I like to do this full time, and I can't do it if you don't let me. So please share it around. And also as well, follow me on Twitter, Blue Sky, and as well have Kofi and Cash App if you'd like to donate to the channel just to help me out. And until next, Boy J, sign off. Have a blessed day.